Hi everyone. Hi Taylor. Taylor is at home today. How are you?
I'm lovely. How are you today?
I love your home. I've
Ah,
had the
thank you.
privilege of touring it a little bit,
Uh,
and yes, you have a beautiful home, and our
Thank you.
people now can see it. Hey,
Yes.
congratulations on your No Kings protest in Huntsville, Alabama. What a turnout y'all had. Y'all
What?
see how I'm getting used to
Y'all,
the y'all?
you're
Yes,
getting used
I'm
to
getting
it.
there. Yeah, slowly but surely. Tell us
Yes.
about it. Tell the
It
people.
was it was a great turnout. It was just a quick little 2 hour window. The biggest difference between this one and the last one is they moved it from Butler Green right to Governor's Drive, right in the heart of the
Oh,
city, right in front of the hospital. So it really funneled everybody, onto one sidewalk or the other, and it made a couple of hundred people look like 500 people,
ooh, excellent.
for right. I mean, for a
Yes.
good 3 blocks, it was solid people and costumes and
Uh-huh.
solidarity. And it was interesting to see the people with their children out there and the amount of seniors that were out there, with
Good.
the concern for healthcare getting
Mm.
realer and realer as each
Mm-hmm.
day passes by with no resolution to our
Mm-hmm.
government spending. So it was a good turnout. So I was proud of Huntsville.
Right. No, me too. And so I want to say a couple of things about it. First of all, question. This is near where the Egg Beater Jesus Church is, right? That you were
Yes,
at?
yes, yes.
Okay. For
Right on,
people who
right
know
on. Right.
Huntsville, that's
Yes,
because that's a landmark people might
that
know about
that
Huntsville is.
is right. Governor's
Hmm.
Drive comes through the heart of the city. It divides it into the east and west side of Huntsville. So it couldn't have been in a more perfect spot. The weather was perfect. The people were
Oh,
excited. It was
excellent.
just good all around.
Right. And this business with the healthcare costs for those, especially in Canada, who may not know about it, there's a and you correct me if I get this wrong, but there are talks of increasing premiums and the cost of healthcare for folks, normal people, up 150%,
It's
something.
crazy.
Yeah. So
It's
this would be ruinous for many people.
many people. Yes,
Hmm.
Huntsville is a uh, our town is based on government, and it's based on Boeing and Lockheed Martin and all the things that do with planes and bombs and war and all the technology. So it's rough for Huntsville when we have a government shutdown.
Mm,
But these Obama era subsidies are what are expiring. So if like me, if you went on to the healthcare marketplace where you would get insurance if you don't have it through your job, they might give you a $500 credit on your $1,000 insurance, which reduces it in half. And
hmm.
when these expire at the end of the year, then you're going to multiply it by three, and suddenly it doesn't matter if you have a job or not, you can't afford this insurance.
Right.
So it's
And that's
scary
per month,
for.
right? Again, just for Canadians who may not realize just how
Oh,
much people pay in
yes.
health. So because we don't pay that, because this is, I mean, we
Yes.
pay it just indirectly. It's covered by the government. But so everybody who
And
works
and
pays
we have
income and income tax, and it goes to pay for this. But we don't pay
which is
extra
lovely.
to access healthcare.
And we have levels of healthcare here, that you buy yourself. You can get in at the base level, what they call the silver level, and you have to pay all this money out of pocket before the insurance kicks in. Well, if you use insurance like I do on a regular basis with my scans, and at Vanderbilt, you would go broke. So you have to get the premium healthcare, which runs about $1,500 a month.
Wow, and
Yeah,
that's after
it's
tax dollars.
right.
So $1,500 a month. So that's not quite as much as rent, but it's
But
almost
when you
as
have
much as
rent, a
rent.
car payment, if you have a
Yeah,
family, it would be more
yeah.
than that.
Hmm.
So it's getting kind of scary, and people are like, "Well, why can't they work this out? Can they work this out?" Because
Hmm.
in our big beautiful bill that we passed, with flying colors, it mentions nothing about what to do for healthcare when these subsidies run out, and so
Right.
that's why I feel the Democrats, that's all they have to hang on to. If
But
people
they're
lose
not
their.
talking about it. If they're talking about it, I haven't seen it, and I do pay
No,
attention. They
it's
don't
hard.
talk about this.
No, they're not. It's hardline. They're not talking about it at all.
It's ridiculous. One person is talking about this, though, and making really good use of modern communication devices like the internet to personalize this story and what it means. And that's Marjorie Taylor Greene, the
She did.
congresswoman from the
I
neighboring state of Georgia.
of Georgia, yes. And I
And what
rarely agree
kind
with
of a
her.
crazy world is it where the most outspoken, the best person to speak to this issue and how it will impact dramatically and ruin American families, not just people who don't work, people who work, who
Right.
will not be able to afford these premiums, is Marjorie Taylor Greene. Like
And
where like I feel like I'm taking
well,
crazy pills.
right. How are we on the same side of the fence here? But it was interesting. She was talking about her children.
Yeah.
So obviously they're of the age that they cannot stay on her health
Mm-hmm.
care. I believe
Mm-hmm.
you can be 26 in the United
Right.
States and still be on your parents' insurance, but she knows they can't afford it.
Right.
Just starting out in life, and if you've got student loans or you're living outside the home and just all the things that go with it. And, good job, Marjorie. You may
Yeah.
never hear me say that again, but good job.
It almost, I have to spit it out.
Right,
Like, well
right, just
done. Ugh.
right. Oh, oh.
Yeah, somebody else should really talk about this some more. And then the shutdown is in its what, third week now?
Well, I
Second
believe we're
week,
in week
third week?
three. We're
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
well, I think this will be the longest one, and
Hmm.
both under Donald Trump's watch. The first one that he
Yeah.
had was our longest to date, and I feel like this one's gonna pass it with flying colors. It's scary.
And meanwhile, he's out on social networks posting an AI generated video of himself with a crown flying in a plane. If people haven't seen this, I'll try to put a link to it. Just warn,
Right.
it's graphic. So he posted this himself to his Truth
Itself.
Social network. So
Mhm.
that's we're not making this up. And it's an AI generated video of himself on the cockpit of this plane with a crown on his head and literally dropping shit, excrement on No King's protests.
Mhm.
So how
A
do you
day.
feel as an American who does not, as a rule, agree with your president, but you're still an American. He's the president
Right.
of the
The
United
president.
States of
That's
America.
what we've got.
He's so he's shitting on you.
Right. It just
That's not
goes to
great.
show the disconnect between his world and the real world. Um, and that he's just that far withdrawn that he doesn't see all the problems that are coming down the pipeline, or he just doesn't care. But
Mm,
when you say shit on Americans, I think that's a pretty positive uh, or forceful message that people need to pay attention to.
hmm.
Like,
And it,
like,
yeah.
and I hate to say poor white trash, but we're in Alabama, and the poor white trash that support him, it's just, what are you thinking? What is this man doing with his tax breaks that's helping you in any way? I know if my
Mm,
401k is taking a hit, yours has got to be. And
hmm.
you're not in
If they
this,
have one, yeah.
if they have one, right? But you're
Hmm.
not in this echelon that's benefiting from him
Right.
as a president.
Yeah. Are you
Like,
personally Elon Musk or Zuckerberg? Are
right,
you any of
right.
those guys? No. Therefore,
No,
it's not for
and
you. Nothing in his policies really is for you.
it's crazy w- the people that are struggle with funds are the ones that are backing him the loudest. And I'm just
Hmm.
like, it, do you even understand what's going on? Read a
Hmm.
little more. Like, get off social media and read.
Mm.
But
Like a book?
oh, right, or a newspaper or something other than Fox News,
Right.
please, other than
Oh,
Fox News.
that would be something. So last
The-
time, the last No Kings protest for the president's birthday in June, I was at it because I was in
Yes,
Huntsville that
yes.
time, and I was missing it this time. But what can you do? You can't be everywhere. What I did notice last time were there were a number of people who with insignias and their hats and vests and so on, veterans of a
Yes,
lot of Vietnam veterans and other people with like Marines or they have all these insignias and things, and I don't recognize all of them, but I do know it's military, and they
you
look old
know.
enough to be vets. Were there a lot of them?
You saw that again,
Yeah,
and once again, it's coming down with this government shutdown. They robbed Peter to pay Paul to
right.
continue to pay our
Hmm.
armed service men and women, and so they're still getting a check, but that money is rapidly depleting. So
Mm,
it's not just healthcare; it's going to hit across the board.
Yeah.
And it's, it's shit on no well, it's shit on everybody, it's just
Including people who risk their lives to fight
every
for
day
America and
for
its ideals, whether or not you
right.
agree with the Vietnam War and its goals and what have you. These people showed up and went and fought, and the least they deserve, especially as they get older, is health
Right. Or
care.
their benefits, their health care,
Yeah.
their check to not be
Hmm.
interrupted when you're living on a fixed income
Yes.
and then you go without. I mean, that I don't know a lot of people that could sustain for long periods of time.
Yeah.
That's
It's
just
not gonna be
the
pretty.
economy we live in. No, so it's getting
Mm.
realer and realer every day.
Fairhope, Alabama's near Mobile, right? It's on the
Yes,
Gulf of Mexico. I'm still
it's
gonna call it the Gulf of
beautiful.
Mexico. Yeah, is it?
Because
Hmm.
it is the Gulf of Mexico. A
Right.
beautiful, quaint, charming little southern town right on the bay. They have the Grand Hotel. They
Yeah.
fire cannons once a day to announce the time. It's just very
Nice.
charming, very southern. Um, a beautiful spot in Alabama if you have to be in
So
Alabama.
I am going next month. I'm going in that area because I'm spending a couple of days in Mobile, and I found this thing to try, and it's an oyster bread pudding,
Mm,
and it's in this place in Fairhope, Alabama. So now it's on my list because it just
mm.
sounds to this northern. I know, me too. And I have a friend who said, no, it's actually good. Maybe that's what it's called. Anyway, it's supposed to be
Yeah,
really. I have to try it,
you
and I
have to.
will
Yes,
report
once yes, let
on
me know how
this.
that goes.
Yes, I will prep my stomach with a whole bunch of digestive enzymes just to prime the pump, so to speak, just in case it's
That's
difficult
right,
to you
right.
never know in the South. Sometimes some stuff is difficult there. But the reason Fairhope, Alabama is in the news today is, or these days, is because at the protest on Saturday, there was a woman wearing, there were a lot of inflatable costumes all over all those,
Everywhere you look.
including here in Ottawa, there were some. But this woman in Fairhope, Alabama, was wearing an inflatable penis, an erect
Mhm.
penis, to be clear. So I can see why this might go against regulations or bylaw or what have you in a municipality to say, well, this goes against community standards because it is an erect penis, and if there are
Well,
children, so I can see why
yeah,
she had to know she could get in trouble with that, but she got more than just in trouble. She got
she got tackled.
tackled by
Yes.
three. There are pictures, and I'll put a link to that one. Three, I saw officers on her, or at least anyway, she got tackled and handcuffed and arrested. And I'm
In the
like,
penis outfit.
in a penis outfit, I'm like, the small penis energy on this is
I know,
overwhelming.
but can you
Talk about
imagine?
guys feeling threatened by this woman showing up with more balls than they have.
Absolutely. But can you imagine her mugshot? I bet that was golden. That would have been great. Alabama, the only state in the United States where it's illegal to dress like a penis, but perfectly legal to act like one,
To behave like
or
a
say,
dick. Yeah, exactly. And her
yeah,
sign said
truly.
instead of no king was no dictator. Like so, yeah. So
And
it's a little risque if you
as,
have children around, but still.
but if you have children at a protest, I mean, it could go either way.
Hmm.
Now, granted, most of these there were incidents, I think, where they were not all peaceful protests. I think very few and far between because, like you
Hmm.
said, most peoples were in costumes, and there were koalas, questioning his qualifications, and there were
Cute.
dinosaurs, for no ice age and real science, and all these things. But there were signs about dictators.
Right.
And had I thought about it, I wouldn't have thought twice about leaving the house in an inflatable penis costume. If that, had to enter my brain, but I
Right.
just wasn't that creative. But I wouldn't have thought, hey, I'm going to get tackled on the side of the street.
Hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah, Fairhope, what are y'all doing down there?
I don't know.
Because I
They
feel
do
like
make oyster
Fairhope,
bread pudding.
but I feel like they're a fairly liberal city.
Hmm.
It's how they portray, but I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't
So
know.
we'll see where that goes. I'm sure this woman, if she has to defend herself in court, will not have to pay her legal bills because there will be some all kinds of crowdfunding for, people will send
Yes.
money, GoFundMe and so on. So I think
It's
she'll be
just
fine with it. But it's still, it's such a ridiculous idea to go after people like this. The same as putting an AI generated video of the president shitting on his, the people of America. It's just so disrespectful. I
uh,
mean, it's that I feel like the word is not
r-
strong enough.
right. They pale in comparison, So
Yeah.
it's like you don't know really what to do anymore. Where
Mm.
that line? I think it's fluid. It undulates, so you don't know where you can get to and where you have to stop. So I don't know.
Hmm. What's going on
Hmm.
for the in the non-crazy part of Huntsville life?
Oh, so we are at Low Mill Village has been recognized as a new historic neighborhood in Huntsville,
Excellent.
Alabama, along with
Good.
Lincoln Mill and Dallas Mill. So
Hmm.
we're getting three new historic neighborhoods. So that's kind of cool.
Does that mean that
Um,
you have regulations about what you can do with your house if you live in that
that was
neighborhood?
the
Yeah,
first thing
probably.
I was Googling. And,
Hmm.
fortunately, we're in a new house. It was more of the
The
older
old
houses
ones.
that
Yeah.
haven't old is fine, but when you don't keep up, when it's
Hmm.
falling in,
Hmm.
so I was curious about things like that. We're under no HOA by any means, but we'll get new pretty street signs. Um, and it makes it more desirable
Hmm.
as a neighborhood for people looking to relocate. So I think it'll
Hmm.
help with the energy. They just turned Ninth Avenue. Um, from 4 lanes to two. So the outside lanes, we now have walking and bike lanes.
Active transportation. Yay!
Right.
I
Yay. Look at us
know.
go. So
So you can go with
that's
your
happened.
tricycle, your electric tricycle. You can just take it down,
Absolutely. I
up
can
and
do it
down, right?
legally now, right? And instead of just all over the place like a maniac. And we're getting ready this week at the mill. We have our what are we having? We're having the Burning Man. I don't know what
Oh.
to call it, but they burn the effigy outside the Celtic groups of people. So that's kind of exciting. Have a big Halloween party. So all we're getting to that time of the year where all the things
Hmm.
are happening. So
Good.
mom's coming up and we're all three going to attend. So it should be great fun.
Excellent. All
Yes.
right. And then
Well,
preparing for Thanksgiving. I will be experiencing American Thanksgiving for the first time this year
I'm
on a Florida
excited.
beach. So that will be fun. And I'll come
Yes.
by and say hi to you right after that. So we could go shopping or something.
That's right. That's what we do.
All right.
All right.
Well,
Until
thanks,
next
Taylor, and
week.
have a great week. All right.
Yes. You as
Bye.
well. Bye bye.